Welcome to the Parenting Power Podcast, supporting parents with the real-life tools they need to raise the confident, interdependent people the world needs. Gail Bell and Julie Friedman-Smith interview experts who share their knowledge to assist parents in creating a home environment where kids can thrive.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Real Life Parenting Podcast. This is Julie Friedman-Smith.
And I'm Gail Bell.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Beaner's Fun Cuts for Kids. Parenting is hard, haircuts shouldn't be. Visit beanersfuncuts.com for a location near you. Our guest today is Dr. Joanne Orlando, a family digital literacy specialist who relentlessly explores how we can make children's digital lives better. Joanne examines the teaching, learning, and social effects of children's uses of technology across all ages, at school, in the home, and social spaces. Dr. Orlando also develops meaningful approaches to online safety, digital well-being, and how children can maximize technology to learn and communicate. She believes this is the key to digital well-being for both children and their parents. We have so much to talk about today. Welcome, Joanne.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, just so our listeners know, Joanne is tuning in from Australia. She's taken the time to do that for us, and we're just so pleased. And as Julie said, so much to talk and learn about today. Joanne, how did you get involved in the work you were doing with kids and technology?
Oh, well, it's a bit of a story, but it was very much a turning point for me. I'm a professor in a university, and I'm in the area of education. And one of the things that I was seeing a few years ago, when technology sort of really was just becoming big on the scene and children were using it in a big way, and it was all happening very quickly. And what I could see was available for parents were only two things. So one, lots of advertising and marketing by the big tech companies, telling all parents their children should be using technology, they should be developing technology skills. So lots of marketing. And then on the other side, the only available information for parents was what was coming via the media, and lots of scare tactics around really scaring parents. You know, if your child is using technology or if your child is online, they're in huge danger. So it leaves parents quite, are really uncertain on what to do. Like, technology was clearly becoming a massive part of our lives and our children's lives. And I'm in the field of education, so I really care about children and I really care about their well-being. And I thought, well, this just isn't right, is it? So I really made a dedicated path to giving parents really trustworthy information around children's technology use, making sure that they had good information that they could use to make really good decisions for their children and their families.
That sounds so important, and you're right, there is so much information whirling about, and it can feel overwhelming, so it's so helpful when we can cut through the noise and support parents with exactly what they need to know. Joanne, can you expand a little bit for us on your recent research showing that kids are saying that parents' use of their phones is harming family life?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? In my research, we hear a lot about what parents think about children using technology, and I'm a parent too. I've got 3 children, and I spent a lot of time interviewing parents for my research, and they're always saying they're worried about their children spending so much time on social media or so much time on their phone, etc. But I also interviewed children a lot as part of my research. It's a big part of who I talk to. And they tell me exactly the same about their parents. They say, my mum's always on the phone and my dad's always doing his emails and vice versa. So children are really seeing what their parents are doing, and we're really worried about children spending long hours on technology, but we know as adults we also spend long hours on technology as well. And we might be doing things for work, or we might be doing things, organising family life and so forth. But from our children's perspective, what they see is that we're on our phone, or what they see is we're pulling out the laptop every night. They don't necessarily see what we're doing on there. So they just think, well, that's not right either. I can't get mum's attention. She's always on. And then, they might think Facebook, well, she's always on Instagram, whereas mum might be madly, organising everything. But what they see is that we're on our device, and as a result, we're not available to them. We're not available to have that chat. Someone might text us while we're talking to our children, and we'll interrupt that conversation. We know we're waiting for an important work text or important work email, so we stop that conversation and we take that digital correspondence. And that's what children are seeing, and they're feeling like they're kind of losing us a bit and losing our availability for them and our kind of being physically present and mentally present for them.
Yes, and we're hearing the same things. And in fact, we use the word technoference, where it's some of the research, and I'm sure yours is actually showing not parents' intent, but parents' use of phone is actually increasing negative behavior in children, because especially the younger kids may act up simply to get their parents away from their phone so they can have some interaction with them.
Yeah, that's right. So my research and research that I'm reading is showing the same thing. So we think we've got it together. We're doing everything we can to make our children's lives good and make family life good. And we do spend extra time on our technology as a result. But if you're not giving your children their attention, they are going to act in a way to get your attention. So that might be doing something that they know they're not allowed to do, or doing something because you really just haven't been noticing, so they just go ahead and do what they want to do. We really need to be very careful. It can be kind of a slow slide down, and these things can happen without us realising until it gets to a point where there's been an incident and we kind of haven't realised all the clues that were adding towards that incident happening. And it might be something that happens on social media with a teenager, or we just don't know. Yeah.
Yes, awareness is for sure the first step, which leads us into our next question for you. In a recent blog, you posted that 80% of parents are using technology to calm their children. What are your thoughts around that?
That's right. It's becoming a really popular parenting strategy. So it happens in different ways. So I'm finding from my own research that parents use technology as a way of managing their children's behaviour. So, for example, you might have a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old and you're going to the shops and you want them to be well behaved. So you might say something like, if you're really good at the shops, if you're well behaved, when we get home, you can have some more time on your iPad, or you can have some time on my phone. So you're kind of dangling this technology use as a reward for good behaviour. So you're really using the technology as a way of hopefully making sure that their behaviour is calm, peaceful, not distracting while you're out. And if they do all that, when you get home, you'll give them some extra time using technology. So we're using this technology as a way of parenting our children. But what happens is that children develop a really unhealthy attitude to technology if you do that continuously. If it's your go-to strategy, so they will start to demand using technology because they want it. They're not going to be good at the shops unless you actually give them more technology time. So we have to be very careful in the kinds of underlying messages that we're giving our children about technology. If you're using it as a reward and you're constantly using it as a reward, it's likely that your child is going to develop a different kind of attitude towards it than if you didn't offer it as a continual reward.
That's very interesting. We're also seeing it with some of our coaching clients that parents aren't even saying, if you behave now, you can have it later, but the moment that the child starts to cry or make a fuss, they're handing over their phone or they're handing over the iPad. So it's almost stopping the child from even being able to learn how to manage their emotions. And in some cases this is happening, and I'm sure you're seeing it there as well as we are here in Canada, it's happening with babies.
That's right. It's happening very, very young. I think that one of the reasons it is happening is because we know if a child is given a device, your cell phone or an iPad or whatever, we know that they are instantly going to think, yes, I want to use that. And it works. It does keep them quiet. It does keep them distracted while you're doing things. It does actually calm them down. So it does work in that short term. But it's not just the short term we need to think of with children. It's that long term. 5 years of giving them your phone every time you want them to be quiet. You might as well be giving them a chocolate every time you want them to be quiet. We know the long-term implications of that. So the long-term implications of technology, using it in that kind of way to pacify as a reward, if we gave a child anything, it's going to change their behaviour with it, and it's not going to be a healthy kind of attitude they're developing with it.
Now, Joanne, we know that you have created a tool to help parents with technology based on all of the work that you've been doing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can. So, as I said, I go into a lot of family homes and I interview a lot of families here in Australia and other countries around the world that I'm working in. And what I find is that technology is causing a lot of stress in homes. Children are using it. Parents are often quite unsure about the best way to guide them. And as a result, they might be using parenting strategies around technology, just like the ones that we were talking about, that just aren't working. And it's causing stress in the family home, causing a lot of arguments, and particularly as children get into the teenage years, a lot of arguments daily. You know, get off your phone, you're always on Instagram, all that kind of thing. I can't get your attention. So there seems to be these barriers that technology is causing in family life. As for parents, the more times they try to guide their children around technology use and it doesn't work, the worse it gets. So I was seeing this in so many homes that I decided to develop a program to help address parents. So I knew what parents were really struggling with. I could see what factors were contributing to why it was such a struggle for them. So I developed a course called Tech Clever, which is for parents to help them understand children's uses of technology, to help them understand where those stressful moments happen in a lot of families, the best way to understand it, and the best way to address it as a parent. Because we want to stop these stresses before they happen. We can address them at the time, but if you can develop really good, effective parenting around technology in the home, it's going to make life so much easier, and it's going to stop those arguments, and it's also going to really help your parent-child relationship. So I've brought in all the information and research that I've done and other really good quality researchers have done. I've pulled it together in a really easy, simple way. I'm a parent. I know no one's got much time, so it's an easy way of looking at it and some really practical strategies. So looking at things like viral social media challenges, you know, what do you do when your child's involved in that? Or how do you talk to them about it? Or good win-win screen time strategies? Or how to be a good role model around technology yourself? And then, of course, things like safety and helping children to learn with technology. So lots and lots of the subjects that parents really want to know about.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. So it is called Tech Clever, correct?
Tech Clever, that's right.
Okay. Joanne, we really appreciate the work you are doing. As you said, it's changing so quickly that sometimes we know as parents it's easier to stick our head in the sand, but that's not effective or productive for our families and connecting with our families. It's been so interesting talking to you today. If listeners want to find more information just about the research you're doing, or more information about you, or more information about this Tech Clever course, where is the best place for them to follow you?
Well, everywhere. I'm everywhere. If you want to look up my website, it's Dr. Joanne Orlando, and the Tech Clever site is techclever.education. But you'll be able to access the Tech Clever site just from my website as well. And then I'm on Instagram, all social medias under Dr. Joanne Orlando.
That's so great. I know that we're going to consume a bunch more of your information. Every time I see something come up that you post, it's so helpful and easy to read, and we're speaking the same language. It's nice to know that we're doing it at opposite ends of the globe and hopefully making a difference for parents everywhere. Thank you so much for your time today, Joanne.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you both to you for your amazing help for parents as well. It's really important.
Thank you.
We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of the Real Life Parenting Podcast. If you're looking for more real-life parenting tools, then please sign up for our weekly Thoughtful Thursday email newsletter. It's free and it's really good. Just visit our website, parentingpower.ca, to subscribe. While you're there, check out our book, A Year of Intentional Parenting. Like this podcast, the book was created to help you feel confident, capable, and calm. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to connecting with you again right here every Monday.